As the African Cup of Nations draws closer, the big clubs are getting ready to splash their cash on some promising young talents. They won't be cheap though, as some of them were already scooped up. Today, we will take a look at some of the top players who will play in AFCON 2024. It only seems right to start with a player who comes from the county that hosts the tournament. This player from the Ivory Coast was already discovered by Brighton, who saw his promising start in European football while he played for the Danish giants Nordsjælland. They paid €8 million for Adingra in 2022, and after 1 year, the Brighton effect took place. His market value now sits at €15 million, and he's only 21, meaning it's certain to increase even more in the future. This winger is definitely worth watching in the upcoming AFCON 2024. And speaking of wingers, Dongo Outara might be the most promising talent from Burkina Faso. At only 21 years of age, he is managing to get minutes in Bayer Leverkusen, a team that is looking really impressive this season. He started his European journey in a more conventional way by taking his talent to the French league. After playing only 2 years in Lorient, he was noticed and snatched by Bayer for €22.5 million. The pacey winger is set to start for his country, and if he lives up to his potential, the current market fee of €25 million will seem like chump change for him. If Outara has good value for money, then Bilal El Hanous has a great one. This 19-year-old Moroccan player has already established himself as not only the first choice attracting midfielder for his club Genk, but also for his country. Taking into consideration that Morocco managed to finish in 4th place in the World Cup, you can say that it's not a small feat. Watch out for this player because if he stays fit and plays his part in AFCON 2024, big clubs will surely come knocking on Genk's door, ready to pay a lot more than the estimated €18 million price tag. His last name definitely matches his potential. Ousmane Diomande is already worth his weight in diamonds, and he managed to do so at the tender age of 19. Being the first defender on our list, Diomande starts in the center-back position for the Portuguese giants Sporting CP. He shares 2 things with the aforementioned Adingra, one of them being his nationality. The Ivorian defender also took his first European steps in Norway, but he didn't manage to play even a whole season before getting bought into the Portuguese league for €7.5 million. His current market value sits at a whopping €25 million, and remember, he's only 19. He will be more than motivated to perform for his country at AFCON, and if he does, we might be looking at a transfer that will exceed the €50 million mark. Kudus is the oldest player on our list and probably the most famous one. The former Ajax player made his move this summer. The club that managed to get him was none other than West Ham United. He is already lighting the English Premier League and the Europa League on fire with his incredible pace and shooting prowess. West Ham paid €43 million for him, and his value dropped by only €3 million in the meantime. But knowing how things move in the EPL, it is safe to say that the next club that decides to bid for him will have to splash the cash. He will represent the colors of Ghana in the upcoming AFCON. Being their most expensive player, it's needless to say that he will be on the ones to watch list. The same can be said about this man. Now, before we move on to the next player on our list, make sure to hit that like button to show your support. Also, subscribe to the channel, where we will tell you everything you need to know about the upcoming African Cup of Nations tournament. We all saw this one coming, so I will keep it brief. Victor Boniface is one of the many talented strikers that Nigeria has, but if we are talking about their current form, he is definitely the best one. Yet another African gem snatched away by the German club Bayer Leverkusen, Boniface is experiencing rapid growth under the management of Xabi Alonso, so the €40 million price tag is more than warranted. If he manages to keep this form until January 2024, he is sure to be in contention for the best goal scorer of the tournament. And by the way, he is only 22 years old. Baliba is yet another youngster that has been acquired by Brighton. This young man was bought from Lille for 27 million euros. And if the price tag wasn't enough pressure, the fact that he was bought as a direct replacement for Moises Caicedo, at only 19 years old, Carlos Baliba still hasn't been called up to play for the Cameroon national team, but seeing the poor form of Brighton recently, he is sure to get a chance to prove himself. Playing as a defensive midfielder, he possesses great ball retention skills and the power and speed to match the high tempo of the English Premier League. With a price tag of $20 million, this 19-year-old has a bright future ahead of him. Minta is a player who joined Newcastle in the summer transfer window, but if you want to watch the 19-year-old Gambian play, you would have to go to the Dutch league. Newcastle signed this young man and then immediately loaned him out to Feyenoord, hoping that he would see a lot more playing time there. And that is exactly what happened. Minta is already proving his worth by playing almost every game for which he was available. He scored 3 goals and got 1 assist while being in his favorite right-wing position for the reigning Dutch champions. One of the most interesting young prospects in the history of Gambian football, and already one of the most expensive ones as well, with a price tag of 8 million euros. He is sure to light the AFCON 2024 on fire, so keep an eye out. When you think of Tunisia, not many standout players come to mind, especially players who played their careers at one of the big clubs. But Hannibal might be the one who will change that. At 20 years of age, this talented attacking midfielder has already had his debut goal for the English giant Manchester United. Due to that, he is seeing more and more playing time under Erik ten Hag. The same cannot be said about this young player when it comes to the national team. He already has 27 caps for Tunisia and is considered to be one of their key players. He was loaned out to Birmingham last year, but after showing great improvements, Manchester United decided to keep him around this year. With a market value of 12 million euros, he is sure to attract some attention. But don't think that this will be the final price tag when it comes to his eventual purchase by any other club in the future. If he showcases his potential at the AFCON 2024, even that number is sure to go up. Yet another winger, but let's be honest, they are the most entertaining to watch, and excluding the 18-year-old Badreddine Bouanani was not an option. The exciting Algerian is getting more and more playtime for the French club Nice. His inclusion in the Algerian squad for the upcoming AFCON is guaranteed, as he already made his national debut in March 2023. The experience and know-how of Riyad Mahrez will definitely play a huge part in his career. He is already valued at 6 million euros, and if he manages to showcase his skill, that number will only go up. So keep an eye out, because this man might be the one to inherit the position of the most accomplished Algerian footballer. Now, there are a lot more young, talented players who will surely make a statement in January, but we decided to pick these as the frontrunners. Let us know in the comments below if you would like to see part 2.